Good evening, America. Good afternoon, Australia. You're back listening to Radio Tony, and this is the Everyday Business Show. I'm your host, Toni Lontis. Listening live today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We have the wonderful Peo in the Philippines ready to answer your questions, comment, and send you links about anything that Vicki and I talk about on the show today. Just a reminder, you can find all the information about the show today on radiotony.com, and we will be referring to the gorgeous Vicky's website, etc., later on in the show. A reminder too that all the shows are available on binge TV networks across the USA and on the Toni TV channel app on all LG, Roku, and Samsung smart TVs worldwide. There will be links on how to access those apps in the chat box on the live shows and also in the information about the shows. Now, this gorgeous woman I've been dying to interview for a long time, and I'm so happy we have her on the show today. But before I let you meet her, a little bit about Vickie Luna. Vickie Luna Miller is a world-renowned spiritual leader, teacher, medium, intuitive, master energy healer. She helps everyone heal and manifest their best life. Vickie loves to open people up to their magical powers within their wonderfully magical, abundant lives. Over the last 20 years, Vickie has fully stepped into her power, and she's now passionate about sharing her work with the world, helping others to connect to spirit and to work with energy to heal and grow and manifest abundance in their lives. As you all know, listeners, this is my favorite space to talk to you about. Vickie is a powerful mover and shaker of everything and anything energy, and she is ready to lead you out of the mediocrity so that you can step into living the life of your dreams. As a master energy healer, Vickie is able to see and remove stuck energy in a person's mind, body, life, and past lives. She works with pets and unborn babies too. Vickie also has a podcast called the Vickie Miller Podcast. There's a live show on Facebook and YouTube, and is the author of an amazing little book called Manifest Anything You Want in 30 Days. Vickie is also the founder of Magical University, an online energy healing university, helping people and their magic to expand their intuition, help them to learn how to work with energy to heal and manifest anything that they've ever dreamed of. Vickie also has an amazing group called the Manifesting Magic Group, and it's a membership-based group where people who want to live a better life and to manifest their desires into reality. It's a fun, healing, and manifesting group, and people have manifested so many amazing things. I'm going to ask Vickie about that during the show today. She also has a Goddess Empowerment membership for women who are ready to step into their power as women and ready to love wildly and live authentically and change their lives. Vickie has been on all sorts of TV, in newspapers, on lots of radio shows over the years, and you can even find her in Ripley's Believe It or Not. She's also the winner of Hay House Publishing's Mover and Shaker Award. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the gorgeous Vickie Luna Miller. Good evening, Vickie.
Thank you. Thank you. That was, wow, that's awesome. I feel like I have a lot here to step into.
Absolutely.
Thanks
We
for
have a
having
lot that I'm so excited that you're on the show. I've got lots of questions for you today, Vickie, but I thought we'd start right at the beginning. So, can you share with the audience a little bit about your story and your journey from growing up in a church to your early life and recognizing your gifts and then that period of time in your life when you push those gifts away and then re-engaged? Because they are gifts, aren't they, Vickie?
Yes, yeah. Being a medium and growing up super religious as a Baptist, I actually grew up in Ohio. And we're
Yeah.
talking like going out in the spirit, we're talking diehard Christian Baptist.
Yeah.
Pentecostal. Yeah. So that was my take on it. And I was 5 years old that I remember, I'm sure it was always, but it was 5 years old when I remember seeing spirits. And, they were normal to me. I didn't think anything of them. Like, I had
Yes.
this couple that lived in my closet. And, as I grow, yeah, I had an old closet, and they were my grandma and grandpa. But at the time, I didn't know that. I just knew that this was my grandma and grandpa, but I didn't know it was that. I just knew this old couple was there. And just energetically, I would see auras around people. I'd see angels, even pets, the same thing of whatever was wrong with the pet. I could communicate and connect to them, and I'd feel in my own body. And it was just very normal to me. And I didn't know any different until my mom told me that
Yeah.
wasn't normal. I thought I was normal, but obviously it wasn't. So it was kind of scary once and this is where I'm a big advocate for people, and especially all of us are born intuitive. Every single
Little
person.
people. Yes.
Yeah. All those
Mm.
babies that are looking and seeing things and waving at things, well, they're really seeing things, but we just pawn that
Yeah.
out there. So I started pushing them off. I was probably about 8 when my mom told me otherwise, and kind of put this fear into
Yeah.
me. And so then, I started fearing my gifts, and your gifts don't go
Yeah.
away. I accumulated. I even had a dream of my own father dying. He died. And so it was like it was scary as a kid, very scary as a kid, after I learned that I wasn't the normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Vickie, just
yeah.
to interrupt, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm just curious from your perspective now, if we were to support children and acknowledge their gifts, would they be less frightened? Would they grow up embracing those gifts versus being scared of them?
Totally. And that's what I tell parents, especially the children now. They're super intuitive. They're so in line with
Yes.
energy. Yeah. And so it's really important, even if the parents don't understand, is to give them the tools of helping them and enriching those, because kids are amazing and they're great teachers to
Yeah.
us. And so, yeah, now looking back, for sure, and especially the kids now, I have 5 kids. So I have from 29 down
Yes.
14. So yeah, the new children are so gifted and so intuitive. And the difference is when you tell them, hey, this is a gift, and let's do what we can do, and you start asking about it, and the child won't fear it, then they'll be like, cool, this is cool, I'm like superpower, and then they'll start enriching into it. Versus me, where I was scared of everything, that because the gifts didn't go away, I could see and sense everything.
Oh,
And yeah,
Vickie.
so it was a very scary time. And it took me a while, especially religion just being drilled into me, that this wasn't from
Yep.
God. And it took me a long time to, get that whole belief system and change it. It took me about 6 years of really, really diving deep in my 20s in with it.
Yes. Yes. Vickie, how did your family react when you started to embrace your gifts versus pushing them away?
It's still a work in process. so
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
it's still a work in process. Yeah,
Mm.
so sometimes being a part of it, just because they're family doesn't mean that you need to be in that whole, belief system. I got
Mm.
married very young. I had 3 kids by the time I was 26. And that's actually what changed me, is I actually saw my children coming in. I was actually told I couldn't have kids. And I remember,
Oh.
yeah, I was told, and I have 5 kids, like, naturally. But I remember me channeling my children, and then that's what really opened me up even more, that this is okay. And you want to hear what's really funny? The biggest teacher to
Yeah.
me was my children. So I was a closet
Mm.
medium. This is so funny. I'm writing a book right now. It's called The Closet Medium, which is my life. So my mom would come down and she would stay with us. And I had a spiritual center. I was on the radio show, like a local radio show.
Yes.
I had I had a book. I had all this stuff. And my mom would come down and stay with me, and I'd hide everything. I would hide my oracle cards. I'd hide my crystals. I'd hide everything. And here I am. I have 5 children, and I'm 38 years
Yes.
old, and I'm hiding still from my mother. And I just was like, one day is what really, really did it for me. Is one of my sons lied for me. My mom called and she's like, where's your mom? And he's like, I was at my spiritual center having, healings. I was
Yes.
doing healings and stuff. And he lied for me. And I was like, wow, I'm teaching my children it's not okay to be who you are, and that it's not
Yeah.
unconditional love, right? So that was the biggest
Mm.
aha moment for me when I came out to my mother. And I was seriously a closet medium. I was like, I called up some of my gay friends and I was like, well, how do I say this? Like, what do I do?
Yes.
Yeah, and I changed some words. I eased her into it because I don't. She has her beliefs, and that's fine. And I'm a
Yes.
big energy, and a lot of people that are this big bright energy, and you have somebody that the parents, they don't know what to do with it. So I totally now
Yeah.
understand where she was coming from too, and she was raised very
Yeah.
strict religion and all of that too. So, I think it's kind of funny too because it's her lesson to love me unconditionally. So she got me as a
Mm.
daughter to be like, okay, I got to put my differences aside to love her unconditionally, even though my beliefs are different.
Vicky, there's something about that deep Christian upbringing and the loving unconditionally. So my children taught me what unconditional love was, and it's very different from a surface like level of love. And I know from my own church upbringing that there's a crossroads where you as an adult start to question life and energy and your spiritual practices, and you find something completely different to what you'd been the closed-minded thoughts that you'd been brought up with. And I find it really interesting that a lot of the women that I talk to have that church upbringing and how difficult it was to broach that subject with parents, particularly mothers, to say, well, actually, no, I believe this, this, and this. And the evidence in your life is very clear. There's no doubt from my perspective that those are amazing gifts that you've been given and they are meant to be shared with the world. And that idea that it's wrong and bad and from the devil, it takes a while to get that out of your mind, doesn't it, Vicky?
That's exactly what she told me. She told me they were from the devil. And so imagine being a
Yeah.
child. I mean, like I'm from the devil and everything I'm seeing and experiencing and being is, yeah, it was hard. So it's
Yes.
hard for me to shine my light. But finally, once you step into that power, and it took a while, it took a lot of validation.
Yes.
It took a lot
Yes.
of I would get random messages for people. I could be in a cab, I could be in a coffee shop, and I would get a random
Yeah.
message. If I did, and I would just like ignore it. It's so funny. I would sit there with spirit going, I'm not going to tell, no way am I going to tell this person that. Like, I don't even know this person. I'm not
Yeah.
telling this person that. Like, no, I'm not doing it. And the cab guy, I remember the cab guy, I'm sitting there in Boston and I'm in the cab and I see his son's picture up there. He's in the military. This was during one of the wars. And I heard to tell
Yes.
him that his son's going to be home in a year and a half. He's going to be safe. And I'm like, I'm not telling him that. Like, no way. So I'm sitting here arguing with spirit, right? And I get out of the cab and I'm like, nope, not telling him, no way. And next I get this shove in my back and I literally seriously landed in this guy's crotch. And I'm just like, all right, I'm to tell you. And
Okay, I get it.
the guy just looked at me with such thank you, thank you. Like he was just like so enthralled and
Oh.
like so happy. And I was like, wow, okay. And it continued. I'd get these messages and I'd fight with spirit. And if I didn't
Mm.
tell the person, I would seriously get pushed to my back. So it took probably a
Yeah.
year of that where I finally was like, all right, I'm here to help people. And, this is my gifts. This is what I'm doing. And that's actually when my whole world really opened up on all levels, is really stepping fully into
Oh.
my authentic self of who I am. And I don't care if anybody doesn't agree or in that same space with me, I'm still here to help others. And that's my mission and goal.
Absolutely. Vicky, can you describe for the listeners what it's like to feel and read someone's energy? And does that drain you? And how do you protect yourself and your gifts?
Yeah, it can. Just by a picture or seeing somebody or hearing a name, I can tune into, or a business or a state or whatever. I can
Uh-huh.
tune into the energy and tell you everything, and I'll feel things in my body. So you know, a lot of times I do, especially now, we're in a universe right now where the energy's so thin and everything's just manifesting and bouncing right back to you, and energy's so contagious
Yes.
that even people that are
Yes.
super intuitive are realizing, wow, energy is so contagious. So when I will feel it in my body. So if they have pain in their body somewhere, I'll feel it, whether a person or a pet. I can like, I actually sometimes, especially with my fiance, because he's a thinker, I'm like, can you just shut up, like quit your mind right now, because I can just feel it. I can feel people's mind like going, and I can pick
Yes.
up thoughts and I can interpret those. So yeah, all of my senses. If somebody like tastes metally to me or yeasty, or if
Yeah.
a does, I'll get this taste. Earthquakes. I already feel an earthquake coming here in California. Just today, I started feeling a shake, and I
Oh,
tasted it. I
Vickie.
tasted it in my mouth, and yeah, I'm really good at weather too. I predicted. Yeah, I'm really tuned into the Mother Earth too. So I will feel it. I'll sense it in all of my senses. It's kind of like seeing a TV screen in my head too, where I'll see like stuff play
Yeah.
out. And yeah, I'll just have it's just kind of a knowing. And as far as clearing myself, I'm really
Mm-hmm.
you have to, especially if you're empath, it's all about clearing daily outside. I'm a hiker every day. I go to the ocean. I take Epsom salt baths. I have my essence oil sprays. That's why I made them. I cleared my energy field. You have to clear your energy. Yeah, I clear mine all the time.
And you do that daily, Vickie. So you
Oh,
do at
many
least some of those elements daily?
yeah,
Okay.
many times. Yeah. Yeah, you have to.
And
And if
that's what
somebody
keeps
comes,
you
I'll just
safe?
myself. I'm sorry. Yes.
And that's what keeps you safe and protected?
Yeah. Saging, doing all of the clearing your house a lot, clearing yourself, saging yourself. My essence oil sprays, that's why I did them, that you spray them in your energy field, diffusing essence
Yeah.
oils, really working with, especially right now, energetically, and taking out
Mm.
anything that's negative. Like, the first thing you find out of my book, Manifest Anything You Want in 30 Days, is no toxic energy. So I haven't watched the news in probably
Yes.
over 20 years. So there's no like negative energy allowed in my home. I won't even let my kids watch scary movies. Like, it's really about the energy imprints in my home too. I'm really good at going in there and cleaning out the
Yes.
energy there.
Yeah. And do the kids all know now, this is what mum does, it's fantastic? Are they all good about it?
Yeah, I mean, I have 5 kids. I have 4 boys and 1 girl. And
Mm.
yeah, it's funny.
Oh
My
my goodness.
daughter, yeah, it's funny. My daughter's friends are so into me. My daughter just sits there, rolls her eyes. But then, she'll come ask me questions. But yeah, they're super. My kids are all very smart, but they're also intuitive. So they're really good balanced. My youngest son is
Yes.
a Cancer, and he is now 14. He just had a birthday. He's so psychic. Like, he called a shark bite like
Mm.
just recently. Like, a shark attack, like where it was, what time. Like, he is so more evolved than even me. So I feel kind of bad for him too, because
Oh,
he's
that's
very energetically. Yeah.
oh, but that's what an amazing gift, Vickie.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Now, I know that you have lots and lots of amazing stories, but I'm wondering if you can pick a few for us. So, your favorite healing story, your scariest story, and your most heart-moving story.
So let's start with my scary. Maybe scary to all of you. Well, it was kind of scary at the time for me too.
Yeah.
Because I really don't believe in, negative energy. I believe there's energy we can't understand. But I
Yes.
was doing a pet. Okay, so when I had a dog bakery in Florida, I also owned businesses, and I owned a dog bakery in Florida. And I was doing I had pet psychic night. So I'm doing this reading for this lady. I remember to a T still. This is many years ago too. She had a black lab. And so I'm sitting there just doing this pet reading on this dog. And in comes this woman in spirit. Okay. This 17-year-old woman comes flying in as I'm just reading this dog. She's showing me her head cut off, and she's showing me all this stuff. Her head cut off. And like, she's showing me these shoes, and she's showing me all this stuff. And I'm just like, whoa, like, okay, so do I tell this lady this? Like, I don't know what's going on here. And so I just said, do you know somebody that that got murdered or died? And she's like, yeah, I do. My niece has a 17 years ago, it's unsolved murder. And I, at the time, and I've worked with cops in the past, and I looked at her and I'm like, telling her all this stuff. I'm like, was her head cut off? Was there, I'm like, I see shoes and and so long story short, it was her. And so people know, especially mediumship, when it comes to
Yes.
when we die, we don't always go immediately to the other side because there is
Yes.
no time in heaven. We put time down here, but there's no time here. So when I'm reading this lady and she's showing me all this evidence, and it was a big, long thing. Like I got in touch, the cops got in touch with me, the cops were going to come down. And I even told her, I said, I think a
Wow.
cop killed her. And she's like, that's funny. Oh, this even gets better. She's like, that's funny because we think it was the brother-in-law that was a cop. And like the whole story. And
Oh my
I saw the killer's
goodness.
face to a T. And they had sketches. They sent me pictures. Like it got really, really deep, like very deep. And that's kind of energy there. It's just too deep for me.
Yes.
Like it was just very,
Yes.
kind of like, this is heavy. But when I was doing it was that night, I come into the kitchen. I had a baker at the time, and the electricity starts flickering, going on and off. And she's just like, who's around you? I feel somebody around you, because she knows I'm a psychic, right? And then the spirit followed me home, and it was just this whole big thing. And then I had to work with the spirit to cross. So for 17 years, the spirit didn't cross. It never, went all the way to the highest light. So I worked with the spirit, crossed the spirit, was fine, cool, awesome. But that one was kind of like threw me for a loop. I'm just doing a pet reading, and here comes this whole murder scene thing. I wasn't expecting that. So I would say that was probably my most scariest, I guess. It was heaviest, probably heaviest. As far as
is probably a better word, isn't it? Heavy is probably a better word than scary. It's just a heavy energy until you get it sorted. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure for a lot of people, they would have thought that was scary. They'd be like, what?
Yeah.
It was very heavy. And I mean, obviously I was supposed to be there and help with the whole process. Obviously, it happened for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was, I would say, one of them. My other couple favorite, I mean, I've worked with thousands of people, I don't want to, all of them are awesome. I've seen, I've helped cancer disappear. I want to say always a bigger power is working through me. I healed my own cancer at 28 actually too, just by energy and knowing how I manifested it and stuff. So I would say one of them was one of my clients called me up after just having a miscarriage. And she told me that she went to the doctor, and her doctor told her she was never going to have she wasn't going to have a baby. And so I looked into her energy, and I'm like, yeah, we'll get you to have a baby. So I did a healing on her, and in a past life, and people don't realize your past life has so much to do with now. So any baggage or karma or blocks or beliefs or fear or any of that energy that you've had from a past life, if you clear that, you can clear your life now. So I took her into a past life, and I do my healings energetically. She wasn't even there. I record the session. And one of her past lives, she was barren, and there was all this stuff to do with her past life. So I cleared her energy, did all my, magic, whatever I needed to do. And about 6 months later, she called me and she told me she was pregnant and she has a baby. It's all healthy now. And she gave life to a baby. So, I've helped a lot of people actually get pregnant. So if anybody ever tells you you can't have a child, like and that's my pet peeve, is when doctors just tell them that, like, no, it's not there.
Yeah.
There's some things energetically that maybe need to be cleaned up. So that I would say was one of my favorite ones. And then this one's really recently, I just had a retreat in Sedona and in May.
Yes.
And one of my clients was there. Major healing, major sad story. Her parents were deaf, and she's probably about around 40 now. And her mom was deaf, and she was murdered. She was they found her in a dumpster with cigarette burn marks all over her body. She was raped and murdered and put into the dumpster. And she said, and then she was homeless. And then my client was homeless because she lived with her father at the time at 12 during all this, after they found her mom dead.
Yes.
And so she was homeless, and she's like, I have lived with so much pain and guilt and sadness and this dark energy. She said at times she just felt like she had a dark
Mm.
entity in her. And
Yeah.
everybody at my retreat, like we worked on some deep healing, and she just let it all out. And every single person in the room could feel the shift in her. And she's just a whole new person now, because we had to go in there and cut those energy cords, and a lot of, healing and love happened there. So I want to say that was one of my, I mean, there's so many, but that was a much
Yes.
needed healing to happen for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Vicky, the other thing is that, people listening to us might go, "Oh, that's not true," or whatever their reaction is. However, science is slowly starting to catch up with this. If we talk about the study of epigenetics and the fact that trauma is passed down through our genes, then it absolutely correlates to energy being passed down through generations. And the job of us in our human experience is to work through those things, heal them, get rid of them, so that we keep evolving as humans and our souls keep evolving. Because that's part of it, isn't it? It's a soul journey that is having a human experience. Yeah.
Yeah, ancestral healing right now is really big, and people don't
It
realize
is.
you could be taking on something from your family from the past. That's really what hereditary is. Hereditary is a belief system around
Yeah.
it being that it's hereditary, and you take on that story, and then you take on those emotions, and your emotional, physical energy, it manifests into your physical energy. So everything is emotional,
Correct.
and everybody reads energy. The minute you meet somebody, you're already
Mm.
reading energy.
Yeah.
You're already saying, "Oh,
Yes.
this
Yeah.
person don't like them. Oh, they're hot headed," or whatever you're saying, whatever act. You're already reading energy.
Yeah. Yeah, we just don't acknowledge it in the way that we should, do we? Like, I'm saying it's taken me years to go that those little prompts in my head about a person or a situation are actually spirit saying, "Hey, this is what's going on." And then you've got to get yourself into the whole idea that they're leading you, helping you, supporting you, giving you information that helps you live a better life. Vicky, the other thing that I was fascinated to read, and I spent a lot of time going through all your stuff in recent weeks because in preparation for this interview, but tell me about Magical University. It gives me goosebumps when I say that. But can you tell us about what Magical University is and what it's all about?
Yeah, so I created Magical University probably about 5 years ago. It's an online healing school, and it's teaching everything that I do: the mediumship, the intuition development, oracle cards, sound healing, essence oils, pretty much
Mm,
everything mind, body, spirit. The reason why
yes,
I did that is not only to get more readers and healers into the world, because we need them and it feels great to help other
absolutely.
people. Exactly. But you're going to go through the healing process yourself. And I really don't, we're like an onion, and there's different layers.
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
our mind, body, and spirit healing wise, people think there's just one layer that you need. But in order to integrate whole body healing, mind, body, and spirit
Yes,
has to happen. And so you
yeah,
can't just go get surgery, get back surgery, and not heal something emotionally. So that's what I teach in the Magical University, is how to heal all aspects of your
yeah,
life so you can manifest the best life too.
absolutely. Because we're finding out now more and more often that, say we take cancer. So, any of the cancers can be directly linked to some part of that we're not healing in our mind and our spirit. So, for those people that hold a lot of anger in their life, will often present with heart attacks. So we know this is becoming accepted and researched and backed up. So I think that you're absolutely right, Vicky. We need more healers across the world doing this work. because we want a better humanity going forward. I want a better humanity for my grandchildren. You want a better humanity for your kids and grandkids, and this is the way you do it.
And energy.
Vickie, I wanted to talk.
Sorry.
Go on.
No, energy is contagious too. So you get that one person that really changes their energy, which will ripple out into the whole
Yes.
world too. So that's why I started Magical University. And just to let you know too, I have a certification program. That's a 6-month certification program too. So then when you become certified, then I refer my clients to you. Yeah.
That's amazing. Because there's often times when people ask about, oh, how do I develop this gift, or how do I work this out? And it's good to know that there's people like you starting to develop the courses and learning that helps people do this. Because sometimes it's just a matter of tapping into it, essentially, and being aware of it and going, oh, wow, that's what that is. How cool is that? I wanted to talk to you about your book, which is How to Manifest Anything in 30 Days. How did this happen?
Yeah, well, I channeled it from spirit, but manifesting. So every single person manifests, which is formed with energy. So manifest means receive. So we're always receiving either great things or not great things in our life, right? And we are all manifesting at all times. So I'm going to say when I started recognizing I was manifesting, I started really realizing, wow, this is really happening to me. Is I started the first dog bakery boutique in Southwest Florida called Dudley's Dog Bakery. And when you start a business, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew like this was my passion. I'm going to go for it. I had no idea what I was doing business wise, right? I was in real estate making a shitload of money. Sorry, tons of money. And then I go in and I tell him, and he's like, "You're going to start a what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm starting a dog bakery." So I go in, and mind you, like my whole office is laughing at me, like, "You're leaving this job to start a dog bakery." Yeah. So I start this dog bakery, and all these other business owners start telling me how hard it's going to be and how many bad employees I'm going to have, and I'm going to work all these hours and not make any money. And I'm like, oh, whatever, like I'm going to go do this. And I opened it up, and everything I thought and dreamed of came true. And was it all good? Absolutely not. I went through the belief system and experiencing exactly what I believe to be true. Oh, it's going to take 5 years for me to make money. Oh, I'm going to have horrible employees. I had horrible employees. And then I started realizing like everything I was saying was coming true, like immediately, or my thinking saying, so much so, this is when it really dawned on me. I came home at the time I was married, and I came home and I said, I'm going to franchise out my business. And he just looked at me and he's like, yeah, okay, right. The next day, I had a person walk into my store, and she says, I had 3 locations by then too. And she says to me, I want to will you open a location and I run it at this city? And I'm like, no, but I'll franchise it. And she's like, okay, I'll franchise it. And so I was like, wow, okay, now I'm getting this whole energy thing. I'm understanding it. So I started also realizing I'm going to start changing my thought process, my words, to match what I want, right? And it really worked. Like instantly that day, all my horrible employees just quit, or I fired them. And I started attracting wonderful people, and I started realizing, wow, I'm manifesting this. And I started playing with manifesting like consciously, because we're all always manifesting, but I started doing it consciously. And I remember going home with my husband, and I said, all right, we're going to manifest more money. I said, we're going to do this. We're going to write a check out to ourselves, and we're going to write it out for this much. And we're going to see every day, we're going to visualize and see ourselves getting more money. The next day, there again, my husband's like looking at me like, I have snakes coming out of my head. And the next day we got $1,200 in our mailbox from like random. And one of them was from his mom, like is the cheapest person in the whole world. And I was just like, wow, like this is so cool. So I started consciously after that. We just, I started working with it. And so my book came about. I am a manifesting queen. I love to share with other people how to manifest. And so I just started channeling it. Spirit said, it's time to get this out into, the world. And so I did.
Because that's the thing. As humans, we're meant to be abundant and living our best lives. We're not meant to be struggling all the time. Yes, there's going to be points when we have things to learn and things to heal, and that there will always be that component of struggle. But we're meant to be abundantly
We are.
living life. There is enough money. There is enough food. There is enough of everything for everyone to access all the time. And we just don't allow ourselves, do we?
No. Well, we are the creators of our stories, and we're raised by the age of 6. We have already seen
Uh-huh.
all the energy and environment around you, and you have it in your brain now, your family, your circumstances of where you live. And so you're already forming all these belief systems about life. And then after 6, you're projecting them and you're living them. And that starts creating the
Yeah.
energy moving forward. And so when you change your story, I teach people how to change this story. You change your life,
Mhm.
and you start it
Yeah.
first. It feels like you're faking it, but when you start seeing the earth and being in gratitude and the earth as a playground
Yeah.
instead of struggle,
Mm.
things will shift for you like this
Mm.
instantly too. And
Mm.
so I've been on both sides. I've been there where I was like, all right, something has to change, something has to shift. And then
Yeah.
I started
Yeah.
realizing, oh, I'm the creator. I can do this. And it's really cool and it's very
Yeah.
powerful.
Vicki, what's some of your favorite manifesting stories?
Oh God, I have so many. As my clients, my clients have
Mhm.
manifested so many
Yeah.
things: more money, more health. I'm going to say one of my favorites recently. Well, I have kind of two. One just got married that she thought she was
Mhm.
never going to get married, and I helped her manifest, the love of her life right now. So she just got married. But I want to say the recent one was, yeah, and she'll know who I'm talking about when I talk about her. She's been my client for a while. Working with her, I have a manifesting magic group, private Facebook group that I
Mm.
do a monthly membership, and I coach in there and teach in there and do readings in there.
Yeah.
And she's been with me for many years, and she's always in lack mode of money and everything. Well, she shifted
Yeah.
significantly, and she just manifested a car down to the color, the kind, everything exactly gifted to her. It was gifted to her. And
Oh,
that's was for me.
wow.
If you know this woman, you're like, whoa, oh my God, this is awesome. So for that, I want to say, I just kudos to her for
Yeah.
shifting and moving to that aspect. And, that I'm going to say is one of my favorite ones recently.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that whole shift of the way you think and the way you speak about things, it can be really tricky, can't it? Like, because we get that fear that what will people think, or what if it? For me, it was always about what if that actually came true. You know, looking at it like, how would I cope? What would I do? Well, you have to swap that around and you have to start thinking, I am the person that has whatever it is in my life. You have to swap the way that you talk, not only to yourself, but the way that you speak out about it, don't you, Vicky?
Totally. The words I am are your most powerful words in your life. And when you take ownership and you say, I am, you start dressing the part, being the part, having the part, you will be the part. And yeah, it's really looking at the stories and what you're telling other people. Whatever we say and think will
Yeah.
manifest, it will come about. And so start noticing instead of complaining. I won't even give any energy I won't even say to my friends, I won't really vent or
Uh-huh.
really say anything, because it's what happens is when you start giving all of that energy to something you don't want, you're actually blowing it up, because wherever you give energy, that's what's going to get bigger and bigger. So if you keep on with the story of saying how crappy your life is or how unhealthy you feel or how much work there is, it's only going to blow up and be bigger, versus being in the story of gratitude of, look at this amazing place, look
Yeah.
at all the stuff I have, look at my life right now, and I'm breathing, I'm here, I'm alive. When you're getting to that
Yeah.
energy, everything's going to shift for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Vicky, the other thing that I loved looking through all of the amazing things you do were your teas and your sprays. and I was looking at them again last night and thought, oh my God, they're wonderful. So can you tell the audience quickly, like you've got the single sprays and then you've got them grouped together with tea. And the one that I can remember off the top of my head was the de-stress package that had the spray and the tea, but there's all sorts of ones you have, don't you?
Yeah. So yeah, so Spirit, I'm just the channeler, and so Spirit said you need to do these healing sprays, and so I have a creator. I have my friend owns, she's an
Yeah.
herbologist. She owns a store, so I go to her place and I just channel what to put into it, and so each one is totally different. They're all organic, and yeah, I use them. You spray them in your energy field, and essence oils work on all
Mm,
levels. They penetrate your cells. So they obviously help uplift you. I mean, everybody loves the smell of them too, right? But they're working on a deeper level,
yeah.
because when you feel good, that's when you're manifesting. You don't want to feel crappy. So you're manifesting. Also, your energy field can get so inundated with all that. All energy is contagious. So when you walk into around that person that drains you, or walk into a store, or it's crowded, you're taking all that energy in your energy field. And so it's really important for us to clean them out. So that's why I do the sprays. That's
Yeah.
why I have sprays. I also now have chakra oils. So chakras are energy points in your body that goes to your physical point too. So it goes to your organs, and
Mhm.
it's every single point of your body. So they help you emotionally and physically. So I have the chakra oils too. Those are roll-ons. And then I have
Yeah.
teas. So my teas are medicine teas. The de-stress one, it's funny you
Mhm.
mentioned that I drink that every night. It has
Yeah.
valerian in it too. It really helps you sleep. Yeah, and
Wow.
my favorites. That and abundance is my two right now. I'm addicted to. But I have many
Yeah.
different teas. But the teas are medicine teas, so it's not
Mhm.
all tea is medicine tea. I can get that, but these are loose herbs, and yeah, I
Yeah.
manifested them all, and I talk to Spirit. They're straightly from Spirit, so that's what I have right now. I have some more things in the
I'm
work
thinking,
too.
did you have to find someone who did you have to find a supplier of all the unique ingredients in the tea, or how did you do that? Obviously, you channeled what needed to go in. How did you find the stuff and get it packaged so beautifully?
Well, I always manifest my people. Yeah, I manifest them, but I am lucky and and blessed. My friend is an herbologist, and she does oils too. And I have videoed. You have to watch us. We get high on oils.
Yeah,
It cracks us up.
yeah,
We'll go into her studio, and when I'm creating them, Spirit will tell me a name. Like, I don't know all essence oils names, and I hear like, okay, I'm getting Mei
'cause
Chong
there's lots.
Long, and she's like, oh, Mei Chong Long Long, so she knows it. I'll say, oh, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, and we put them together, and Spirit will tell me and all that. And so the packaging, the labels, all of that too. I found that
All comes.
myself, but yeah, I created that myself. But yeah, I would tell everybody, if you wanting something, call it in, manifest it in, ask for that distributor, tell Spirit, hey, I need this, and call it in, and it will show up.
Fantastic. Lastly, before we run out of time, I'm a huge fan of all things meditation. So that's I particularly enjoy guided meditation, but that's something that really helps you keep doing what you do, isn't it?
Meditation's a game changer. Yeah, I meditate every day, at least
Mm.
once a day, and I do meditations.
Yeah,
I offer meditations. Meditations is a must, because whatever's in your mind,
yeah,
that's what you're creating on the outside world. And our mind is so powerful. And so when you quiet it down, which meditation does, it actually becomes
yeah,
very addictive. And if
yes.
people say, like, I hear this all the time, oh, I can't meditate, like I can't, meditate. If you say that, you are absolutely the person that needs to meditate, because when your mind
Yeah.
is running over and over and over again, you are creating, and most likely you're creating from stress and worry and concern. And so meditation
Mm,
will go in there. And I always tell people to start with guided meditation. Anything. You can
yes.
find so many free ones on YouTube that are magical and awesome. And when you're going into that process, not only are you meditating, you're actually healing your body, you're healing your DNA,
Yeah.
and you can visualize implanting in your manifesting of whatever it is you want to manifest too. So that's a form of
Yeah.
manifesting, is visualizing it, seeing your life right now. So
Yeah.
meditation is a must for sure.
And it sticks in your subconscious mind, and it definitely keeps you calmer. So until I implemented daily meditation in my own life, I would reach points where the anger would explode. But the meditation just keeps you calm, keeps your energy flowing. And yes, I didn't always have that visionary component, but now it's always there. So as soon as I start within a few minutes and closing your eyes, and the visualization happens, and it happens all the time. And for me, that's just the most amazing discovery, and it's available to every human being. And if you're wondering what to meditate to, just gosh, jump onto YouTube, jump onto any of Vickie's stuff, VickieLuna.com. There's amazing stuff in there that will just help you on your journey. You don't have to learn everything all at once. It's a step-by-step process, and as you start something, then you'll discover something else, and life just starts to get better. And the feeling of your energy changing and shifting from a negative perspective to a more positive, joyful, grateful, happy, whole energy, that's definitely the place to live from. And I'm sure Vickie you agree
For
with me
sure.
on that.
Oh my God,
Vickie,
100%. And people don't realize they're
yeah,
always meditating even when they're just quiet. Maybe they hike or golf, or a lot of guys like to ride motorcycles, or you clean. Like anytime you shut
mm,
off your mind, you're meditating.
yeah, yeah, and I didn't realize that. I thought you had to, go into a certain place and a certain room and all of that. But no, I can sit with my goats and just chill out with them and enjoy their company. I'm very much an animal person like you are, Vickie, and animals soothe my soul. And in particular, goats are my spirit animals. So I have 7 of them with
Oh,
all their individual, unique personalities. 7 goats, 2 llamas, a little old puppy dog, and a chicken.
oh my God, how cute. I've helped deliver a llama before. That how cute.
Llamas are very spiritually intelligent animals. They're really quite special. And of course, goats are just they're cheeky and mischievous and happy, and they give you unconditional love, like a different form of dog, really. And of course, you've got beautiful dogs, Vickie. So I know you understand the connection and love between a human and a dog.
Oh yeah, thank you. I have a deaf Great Dane. She's very needy and she's very old, but yeah, I totally get
She's
that.
gorgeous, Vicky. She's a
Thank you.
gorgeous puppy dog. I was
Yeah,
looking at her and thought, oh, she's just gorgeous. But then, dog people love other people's dogs as well. Now,
exactly.
before we run out of time, you've got an ebook offer for our audience today. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's my book, Manifest Anything You Want in 30 Days. It's an ebook, and it's a process. It's very easy, very simple, but it's going to bring you on a huge healing journey, which will also help you
Yeah.
manifest. And it's great, and you can keep using it over and over again. So you think about something you want to manifest first, and then you can manifest that, and then you start a whole nother process another day. Everybody they've manifested, that have read my book, they tell me all the time how much they use my book, and they manifest more and more things.
Yeah, Vicky, I was reading one of the reviews, and one of the girls had said that they'd read lots of law of attraction books, but it wasn't until that they'd read your little ebook that it actually worked, and they got it, and they were just so happy that they downloaded it and read it and implemented it. And that's the other thing too that we need to point out. It's wonderful to learn about all these things, but there is an action required, and the energy that uh, comes from attaching an action to whatever you want is important to mention to the audience. Vickie, how can people connect with you directly?
My website's great, VickieLuna.com. You can
It
find
is great.
Yeah, VickieLuna.com is on there. You can email me on there. I have Facebook, I have Instagram. I have YouTube. I'm on SoundCloud. I have a podcast called The Vickie Luna Show, and I keep
Yes.
it up weekly with weekly predictions, weekly help healing, all of that. So any of the social media platforms.
And your membership groups are wonderful spaces for people to hang out, because that's where you do your readings and coaching and what have you. One of your groups is the Goddess group. Can you quickly tell the audience about that one? Because I love that one.
Yeah, goddess empowerment. So I'm all about helping women step into their power. I'm, a powerhouse, and love to help women to do that. So it's goddess empowerment, and we work all about it's much more than just empowering, because a part about being stepping into
Yes.
power is healing. So that is a
Mm.
monthly membership group that, I help women. We do the same thing. I do coaching in there. I do I tap in.
Yes.
I call it soul work, and is what
Yes.
you said. Take action. You have to take action. You just can't sit on your couch
Yeah.
wanting all these things with no action behind it. But the action's fun action. So the soul work that comes in is a lot of fun stuff, a lot of powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And then I do weekly
Yeah.
readings, on that too. So that's my goddess empowerment group.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do goddess
Vickie,
retreats.
just one. Sorry, darling.
Goddess retreats also. I do goddess retreats in different locations too. I'm doing one in October in North Carolina, Asheville.
Oh, see, if only Australians could travel. Seriously.
I know, you're all there. Yeah, Asheville's gorgeous too. I don't know if you've been there, but it's beautiful.
It sounds delightful, and if you're doing a women's retreat there, it's going to have to be beautiful. That's probably I'm a great fan of women's retreats. I just think that there's something about women congregating together and sharing stories and time and energy and healing. It really has a ripple impact across the world. They're my favorite thing to go to, and I hope I'll be able to go back to doing my own retreat again one day.
You will. You will.
Vickie, I know that I will. Vickie, it's been just delightful talking to you today. I just wanted to finally ask, I feel like there is really amazing energy across the world at the moment. And I feel that within the next 10 years, we will see lots of amazing energy shifts across and throughout humanity. Is that your feeling as well? Does that inspire you to keep doing the amazing work that you do?
Yeah, we are in actually the most alive time when it comes to manifesting. Manifesting is going to happen like this. And I'm sure a lot of you have already noticed that. You think something, you're like, oh my God, I just thought of this and it's here. So we're going through a whole new paradigm, whole new shifting, and the new world, which I actually predicted
Yes.
everything happening a year before it happened in 2020,
Yes.
this is the new world for us to step in truth. No longer are the people pleasing days. This is truth and living through the heart center. So this also means all new paradigms, changing, shifting. This means everything, the government, school systems, all that outdated stuff
Yes.
going. So
Yes.
it may seem, I know for a lot of people, it's a hard time, I know for a lot of people, but
Yes.
think of this as a great time of destruction, and then you get to rework and build up a new system that
Yes.
is really going to come from a heart center.
Amazing.
And that's what we're doing
Yeah.
right now. So yes, I do totally agree to answer that question.
Oh, fantastic, Vickie. I'm privileged to have wonderful conversations with predominantly amazing women, and that seems to be the key component, that these beautiful, amazing, healing, heart-centered energy workers and light workers are just showing up, and it just gives me goosebumps. Vickie Luna Miller, thank you so much for being on Radio Toni Everyday Business today. I've been looking forward to talking to you for so long, and I'm so glad we finally got live on air. I wish you every success. I see every success for you. People listening today, don't forget, jump on VickieLuna.com. There is amazing stuff on there, from tea to energy clearing to her groups, her books. Jump on and check it out. Vickie, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
And that, my wonderful audience, is our lot for this week. We'll be back next week with another episode of Radio Toni Everyday Business. Please thank Vicki and jump on her site, VickieLuna.com. Bye for now.